Hi there everyone, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the advert and check out the link in the description below and get your tickets to the British Shooting Show last weekend in February. I hope to be there for all 3 days this year. Looking forward to it. For my next article, check out this rogues gallery. These are all my mechanically cocked pistols. Webley Tempest, Webley Hurricane with a custom grip that I featured a few years ago in an article. My latest one, the Finework Bow 80, that's second hand, and well, they all are really. I've got to fettle the trigger on that, it's too light. My HW 75, and I can generally score about an 80 with that, a GARC. My Webley Electo, that trigger needs a lot of fettling because it's way too long and spongy and heavy. The Izzy, Baikal IZH 46M. Again, I tend to score on a good day about 80 with this 10 meter one-handed pistol shooting. And at the back, Crosman 1322 Medalist, and left to right, Crosman 1389 Backpacker with a little Christmas cracker scope on it. I'm afraid over the years, the metal rear sight, which attaches to those two screws, has long lost. Bry's bought the 1322, and I'll be selling the Backpacker soon because I'm after a stock for this fella. And if need be, I'll buy a 2.2 version as well if I get a stock with it. But I'm after a stock and turn that into my new back garden plinker. These two are the subject of my latest article. I've had the 1322 for many years, and likewise the 1389 Backpacker was discovered, shall we say, in my old bedroom wardrobe when we had to clear the house. They're kind of easy to cock, if a bit squeaky in the case of the 1322. They are aimed at youngsters. It's kind of like entry-level air guns. Carbines come sort of for youngsters working their way up to rifles. But they're a lot of fun. I'll include a little clip of Bry on the range as well. Slightly different surroundings because I've currently got my welded steel backstop in the spare room in a cardboard box to prevent lead going everywhere, and I've got my trusty R2A chronograph originally from Blackpool Air Rifles. That's what I'll be doing the testing with. So what am I testing? I've got my trusty old Crosman 1322 Medalist. I was given this from a colleague when Scottish airgun licensing originally came in because he didn't want to get a license for this fellow that was gathering dust in his attic. So it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of a pest to pump up, and yeah, it's 2.2, but variable power, and I'm going to see what power it's putting out on the Chrono. But I'm going to compare it with something slightly more modern and a little bit unusual. This is the 1389 Backpacker, and it's very unusual. It's got quite rare green plastic furniture, including detachable shoulder stock. The skeletal shoulder stock is very similar to that of the 1322 Medalist, but this fella is slightly more of a takedown backpacker rifle because it's got a little spring-loaded button here, the back. Press that in, the stock comes off, and this one doesn't come with pistol grips, whereas the 1322 does. Bry has kindly repaired this with some parts he bought from PED on the old Airgun forum. The innards have been sort of renewed, and we'll see what it puts out over the Chrono in a second. Yeah, I've got that on camera there with the loading port popping open. And then the daily chore of not dropping the pellet out the other side.
That's too much like hard work, Brian.
Yeah, it is a bit.
I remember it being fun when I was in my back garden when I was 14, but
sure, yeah.
But that was knocking over tin cans at like sort of 10 meters. I do like the safety aspect of it though, that you can shoulder it and then pull the plunger back.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal, but it's only a fun gun, bit of a plinker, and it is cool to be variable power and not be a PCP, and yet still be recoilless. Something I just wanted to mention, the Medalist has a sight radius of 320 mil or 12.5 inches, and I've got the calipers ready. Although the foresight blade is 2.65 mil, the rear sight square notch is 1.83 millimeters wide, and when you're aiming this fella, when you've got it shouldered, if you picture it like this, where my cheek is rested, my eye is about 4 inches from the square notch of the rear sight. The foresight blade is tiny, and it's basically like aiming at your thumb, but the aperture's the width of a bucket. So it's not conducive to great accuracy. There is the little plastic rear sight blade is height adjustable, roughly, and it can be flipped over, and there is a small hole, a peep aperture rear sight you can use instead of the square notch. But one thing at least is, no matter how many times you pump it, and as you can tell, this one needs a bit of oil. You've got a safety catch cross bolt here over the trigger. Push it in from the right to fire, or from the left, and it locks the blade. But push it in from the right and it still won't fire until you pull the plunger back 2 notches, 2 clicks, and then it fires. And you've got quite a crack with that, because it's basically a PCP once it's pumped up. So I'm going to do some chrono checks. I'm going to shut the door and I'm going to pop some earplugs in, because there's no way you can put a moderator on the unconventional muzzle of this fella. So I've given you a fair bit of info here, as much as I can, regarding minimum and maximum number of pumps and the benefits or not of those. And the bottom line is, this is far more fun as a lightweight carbine than as a pistol. And it's variable power, you don't need an air bottle, so it's a great starter gun for youngsters. It's not perfect. The original breech seal had shrunk. It was kind of a soft rubbery nylon. I measured up for a new one. Sell@redshot.co.uk kindly sent me a batch of replacements of different sizes, and I just need to basically now use a blowtorch, because these are heat reactive. They're very resistant to abrasives, and I need to fine tune the ID of this to match the pellet. That's a work in progress. I chronoed all 6 of the pistols to compare to the 1322 and the 1389, and that info will be in my article in Airgun World, and pretty interesting actually, pretty interesting. The Electo came out very well, as did my Webley Hurricane, although I think it's because of that grip fitted. For some reason it fires 4 inches high at 10 meters, so I think that fella needs a tune. Thanks for watching. Loads more videos coming soon. I'm going to try and get another 3 videos out this week, including some quite short ones on illuminating subjects, shall we say. And I've just had 2 rifles delivered. Time to get measuring. So that's the Desert Tan, or two-tone if you like, Rexmex Ixia Compact, adjustable power, although sub 12 for the UK, PCP air rifle, which is very, very well equipped and a very reasonable price. Kindly on loan from Nick and the team at Wirral Guns, and a different look again, all black. This is the RTI P3 Compact, kindly on loan from the team at Highland Outdoors. 2 quite different rifles, thorough reviews coming very soon. Thanks for watching.